All right, so welcome back, everyone. I hope you had a great weekend. It's lovely to see you all back here as always. And let's get straight into the superpower to start with. So take a deep breath, close your eyes. And go into your superpower state, or you can leave your eyes open, of course, depending on which you prefer, and go into your superpower state, however you do that. So using a word or phrase, or your anchor, or imagining hugging your subject. And if you're finding it tricky to get into that state, just home in on everything you love about your subject. And start to feel your heart expanding. Start to feel that physical feeling in your heart. And that light shining out. And allow that light or energy to now spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy, that love, that power. And now allow that light or energy to fill each of the 50 trillion cells that make up your body. Love each cell just for existing. Each cell doing its best for you. Love each one. And if you've got any issues physically, send that light, that energy, that love to that area of your body. Love each of the cells in that area just for existing, no matter what. Shining that light into any darkness. Very good. And now allow that light or energy to fill that little you, yourself as a child, any age, from the tips of their toes to the top of their head and out to their fingertips. Love each cell of that child's body just for existing. Empowering that little you. And now allow that light or energy, that power to overflow from that little you, spread out and fill your whole childhood, no matter what. Shining that light into any darkness, loving everything and everyone exactly as it is. And feel that power. Very good. And now allow that light or energy to fill everyone on this call. All those who are on camera, all those who are not on camera, fill everyone with that light, that energy, from the tips of their toes to the top of their head and out to their fingertips. Love each one just for existing. Very, very good. And you can open your eyes if you have them closed. And let's check in with each person who's on camera. So for anybody who's new, if you are not on camera, I won't come to you in case you're wanting to remain incognito. So if you're not on camera, you can either unmute yourself and speak, or you can type in the chat. If you put it in the chat, unless you say I can use your name, or you've said I can use your name in the past, I won't mention your name. So if you want to stay incognito, you can do that. All right, so starting at the top of the screen, Tina, you're first up. How are you today?
I'm very good today.
Good.
My weekend wasn't so good, but I'm very good today.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
And any questions or targets for today?
What I can say, like before the other days, I was scared of mask, not mask, going back to work and all that stuff. confusion and complaining. Like now I feel like I really don't care about it.
Fantastic. Oh, that is
Whatever will be, will be. If I get sick, I get sick. If I wear mask, I wear mask. If not, it's not. It's like, it's nothing I can do about it. I cannot control. I can do nothing. It's as how is it? What I can do is just to make myself feel good and safe and do the best what I can. That's it.
That is just amazing. And what a wonderful example, Tina. Well done. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
For anyone watching this or who's on the call who didn't see Friday's call, do watch the recording of that to see what's possible, to see the difference.
I wish to stay like that forever.
Yes. Well, you know, the great news is that every time you achieve this kind of progress, you are leveling up. Every time, just like whenever you are, you know, if you're doing physical exercise, every time you manage to lift a heavier weight, you're building your muscles. So it gets easier and more and faster. So well done. I am so proud of you, Tina. And the other thing to do is to have that as a reference to remember this for future. So in the future, when you think, oh, I don't know if I can do it, remember you've done it, right? And that's for everybody. Good job. I am so excited for you and so proud of you, Tina. You are a fantastic, shiny example. Good job, sweetheart.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And Lisa. Hi, Lisa. How are you today?
Fine. How are you?
Good. Very good. Thank you.
It's so great to see you guys after a very interesting weekend.
Okay.
With LA, all the riots here. So that's been a challenge for a lot of people. And,
yes.
You know, so I keep having to remind people to, you know, just don't watch the news.
Yes.
You know.
Unless there is something you can physically do, you know, for those who can do something, then of course do that, but make sure you're in a strong, empowered state before you do, and not emotional, so you're strategic. But if there is nothing you can do, there is absolutely no point in watching it. But I do understand how that compulsion to watch, because, and the reason for that is because we're designed to focus on the danger. So that's why we all, you know, we're all drawn to the negative, the news, the bad stuff that's happening, because that's the stress chemicals in our system. That's what we're designed for. But unless your life is in immediate danger this minute, there's no use to it. So you can override it.
Yeah, I had to remind people to just feel safe. It's okay. We're safe. You don't have to worry. You know, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I wanted to read something. So I found this, this was really cool. Become an instrument for love. There's no greater experience than allowing the presence of love to move through you. As you heal your own life through your connection to love, you'll be guided to help others do the same. Sometimes that guidance will lead you in the directions you could have never imagined. So
exactly.
I thought I would share that.
Living proof of that.
Yeah. So I thought I would share that because I like to open books random, and it's like the perfect message, especially when the love concerned.
Exactly. It's spot on. So thank you, Lisa. And that is, you know, that's encouraging and inspiring for everybody. And I remember, you know, going through very, very difficult times, and, you know, struggling to stay in the state of unconditional love and all of that. And I remember, you know, bookmarking it in my head and thinking, okay, so I need to remember this for when I'm helping others. So that, you know, I've been there, I've been in the swamp, and now I'm out of the swamp, and I can then share how to get out, how I did it, rather than just being out of the swamp in the first place and trying to help people get out when I don't have the experience. So thank you for sharing that, because that's really important.
One thing I noticed that if I'm going to do something, I'll get into the child state, and then that helps me to do a love state like that. So it's so much simpler for me. So I thought I would share that too. So it's just getting that child, you know, see yourself as the child and you know. you know, so that helps me a lot. So
a very good idea. Thank you. Thank you so much, Lisa. And such a pleasure to have you with us as always.
oh, same here.
All right. And then moving on to Swasti. Hi, Swasti. How are you today?
Hello. I am really grateful to be here.
Oh, good.
So I had a dream about somebody not caring about what others think,
Right.
and when I woke up, I knew that it was me.
Good.
So it was somebody else in the dream, like somebody who I know, but I knew that it was me, about not caring about what others think anymore.
Yeah.
I think that was quite good.
Fantastic. Yes. Yes, because all the characters in our dreams, even if they're people we know, are a part of us. That's the brain working stuff out. So that's fantastic, Swasti. Good job. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you. But I had this ongoing thing over the weekend and today where I was worrying about the future.
Yes.
So, well, I don't really know where I'm going from here. Not in terms of the superpower, just in terms of the career path I want to choose.
Yes.
And so I looked at the feeling. Well, I went into the feeling that I was feeling at the time, and it was confusion.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that that feeling comes from a memory of my parents leaving me when I was young. So being confused about why they didn't come back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And not knowing what was going to happen, presumably.
Yeah, not knowing the uncertainty.
Yes.
So I did change that, but I just wanted some clarification on it.
That is fantastic, and what an excellent example. So thank you for sharing that, Swasti, and well done for finding that. So so when you say you've changed it, what have you changed it to now?
So I have certain small references which I think are pieced together into one long one. So me calling my parents and asking when they're going to come,
Okay.
and then they never come on the time that they're supposed to come.
Yes. Okay. So
Yeah.
very good. So what I see there is a stepping stone. I would do a stepping stone where you call your parents and you say, when are you going to come? And they say, we'll be right there. And then they actually do turn up. Like, so they're coming straight away, and they do turn up, and you go with them, and they're, you know, everybody's happy and all of that. So that's a stepping stone. The second stepping stone I would do is that your parents dropped you off there for a party, and they went off and they came back after the party to fetch you. All right. And you can, you know, you have a balloon or a gift from the party or whatever, you have stuff to take home with you. And they're like, oh, did you have a nice time? And you, yeah, it was great. It went too quickly. I wasn't expecting you back so soon. That kind of thing, right? And you go home with them. So create that as a stepping stone. And then the final memory is that wherever you were, you all go there. They stay with you. It's a party or a celebration of some sort, and everybody's playing games or whatever, you know, dancing, there's music, however you want to create that, but your parents are there with you and you're all having fun, and then you all go home together.
Okay, so my parents came to the UK from India, so would this still work?
Absolutely, and I'll tell you why, because your subconscious won't work that out.
Okay.
So your subconscious doesn't have a linear understanding of time. Everything's happening right now, no matter what it is, as far as your subconscious is concerned. So whether they're in India or they're in the UK, your subconscious is not going to go, hold on a second. Only your conscious mind does that. Yeah. So you can literally, depending on what would work best for you, you can just create it as it is. So just create it as a new memory. Or you can have it that they never went to India, they never went back to India, or however it would have been, or you went with them wherever they went, you all went together, whatever would feel the nicest.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Would be good. Thank you.
And remember that also, you know, the UK and India, how far apart they are and how long the flight is, none of that matters either. You could just beam over there, beam back. It doesn't need to take time.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. And also, You emailed this article that the regular emails that you do
Yes.
about expecting. I think it was with you. It was about money and not getting the money.
Yes. Yes.
You said about being proactive and taking action instead of waiting for things to happen and expecting things. So
Right.
could you just elaborate on that?
Yes. So just remind me, because I wrote those emails a while ago. So was it about my dad? Is it that one?
Yes, I think so, because you were expecting money, so you were expecting your dad to come back. But
that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
So that was one of the ways I found that original reference. So money. So just for everybody else as well. So one of the patterns I had with money was, I kept expecting money because I would do what everybody else did and to earn money, and other people were earning money and I wasn't. Or somebody was supposed to pay me and they didn't. And so things kept failing that way. Money, I kept expecting it to come and it wouldn't. And it was the same feeling. I traced it back to my dad disappeared when I was 3 years old, approximately 3. And we were told he was coming back. We were told he's gone away to work and he's coming back. And I spent my whole childhood, my whole teenage years expecting my dad to turn up at any moment. And of course, he never did. So then I changed that to where my dad, I did a stepping stone where I was at school, because I told everybody at school that my dad's coming back, and of course he never did. So I changed a stepping stone where I'm at school and he turned up unexpectedly, surprised me. And I was saying, all my friends, this is my dad, and that was the stepping stone. And then the final memory was that he never went away. So I created memories of a specific memory of him walking through the door. He'd just been out at work, and I run to him and, I created that little thing. And I included my mum and my grandmother. So I did both options, where in one memory it was my mum, in the second memory it was my grandmother. Walk past, touch, give me a hug and say, you see, I told you he'd be back. Or I told you he'd be back soon, that kind of thing. So that there's that, you see, it did happen. I told you it would happen, and now it's happened. So there was that piece. So then, which is the bit that you were asking about with the proactive, Swasti?
So in the email, you said that stop expecting things to. I stopped expecting help and I started looking for solutions.
Right, that's right, yes. So in other words, they were, sorry, I'm going a bit blank. And the reason I'm going blank is because someone had mentioned to me in an email that I've been going blank. So now I'm thinking about that and that's making me go blank. So, but okay, so the taking action, yes. So I had spent my life waiting for something, waiting for things to happen, expecting things to happen. And another thing to do with that was I was expecting something outside of me, like God, my relatives who've passed on, somebody help me, it was that kind of feeling. And my sister had said to me one day, Odille, if there is anyone up there, they're not going to put down their popcorn to come and help you. That, for some reason, that clicked with me. I don't know why, but I suddenly understood that, we're in this environment, whatever we believe about it, and whether there is something outside of us or not, we have power, we have responsibilities to take the action ourselves. So I started then going, okay, so what can I do now that I'm not asking, can someone help me? I'm going, okay, so what can I do? And one of those things was keeping my prefrontal cortex online by feeling good, by doing whatever it took to feel good, keep the prefrontal cortex online, which meant that then I was able to see opportunities, take actions, strategic action that I couldn't before because I was busy going, somebody help me, somebody help me. Does that help to explain it, to clarify?
Yeah, I think it does, because I've experienced that. So things I would have never seen before, I'm seeing now, like studying internationally or something. It came to my email, and I was like, well, I would have never thought of that ever again, or never taken it into consideration.
Fantastic. That is such a brilliant example of what's possible. And the same with, you know, with me, where I thought that the only way that I would live my dreams or whatever was to move to Hollywood and be an actress there. And I tried everything. I borrowed money to pay for a course that I went to Hollywood and went, you know, got all the training and the special, whatever it was, you know, how to do your makeup and casting things and all of that, went to castings. But no matter what I did, it wasn't, you know, something would happen that I couldn't, and it didn't turn out the way I was expecting it. But once I changed all of those references and that, it turned out that wasn't me. That was just program. That was more programming, because I grew up in a show business family. That seemed to be the only way that I could go. But once I changed that, this is what I love. I mean, what I am now doing, what I absolutely adore. And if somebody now said to me, you know what, there's a casting in fact, I had a casting for Game of Thrones when I was still living in England. And I did go to it, but so it was for a recurring role. It would have completely changed my life. And I didn't get the role. And at the time, I'd already started doing this. And so I was thinking, you know what? It's okay. I can't create anything bad for myself, et cetera, et cetera. And now I am so grateful. I'm so grateful that I didn't get what I thought I wanted, because I couldn't have seen this coming. And I wouldn't have met Steve, which would have been disastrous.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you for sharing that, Swasti. That's
Can
really
I just quickly add a target as well for today?
Yes.
So I think my brother's got a potential polyp building up in his nose. So could we target that, please?
Absolutely. Steve, are you able to? Thank you. All right. Thank you, Swasti, for sharing that and for being such a beautiful, shiny example as well. And I'm so excited for you that you're doing this so young, because you know, I was 50-something when I discovered all of this. And I remember thinking, oh, if only I'd known this when I was younger. But I'm grateful that I found it when I did. So it's very, very exciting for you too.
I'm grateful to you. Thank you so much, you and Steve.
You're very, very welcome, sweetheart. All right. And then Chris. Hi, Chris.
Hello.
Hey,
And
how's things with you?
I've got an I am statement.
Good.
So I am Chris, and I am in my queendom.
Good.
And I'm fabulous, adorable. I am filling the U-shaped hole in the universe.
Good.
I'm original, unique, and honest.
Good.
And another sentence we have, which is, how am I spending my time? So I'm spending my time playing I come from a long line of ukulele players and spoon players.
Fantastic. I love that. Oh, my mum would have loved you. She loved you.
Well, in lockdown, somebody lent me a ukulele.
Lovely.
And because I've been doing so much work with Dad, and Dad used to muck around with a spoon, so I've been going online learning how to play the spoons.
Perfect.
Okay.
Oh, lovely. Good.
You know, I think I was inspired by your article just the last day or two on authenticity.
Yes.
You've written that article, and
good.
Yeah, it
Good.
a lot of stuff.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And so that that post on Facebook, just for those who hadn't seen it, you know, I came to the realization that authenticity is a gift to yourself. It's got nothing to do with others. I mean, you know, the way it presents to others is a bonus, but authenticity, when you're authentic and honest and open, that's a gift to yourself. the feeling you have. So well done, Chris. Thank you for sharing that. That's fantastic. Good job. And Katrina. Hi, Katrina.
Hi, Odille. Yes. Okay, so it's a target. Steve has given me information there before, and so just briefly, great weekend, fantastic weekend, and then there was a photograph taken. Okay, I was in the photograph. I wasn't aware of it. So photograph taken. Took me back to my granny, who did not accept me how I looked. So I want you, please, to target this feeling for the 8-year-old who did not feel good enough for her granny.
Very good.
So the memory is, full of, she judged and she criticized and da. So just a little bit of. We'll speed up the process, hopefully.
Good job. Yes. And well done. So well done for making that connection. And Steve, are you able to add that to the list? Fantastic, Katrina. Good job. Hey. So isn't it wonderful? Because in the past, something like that would trigger us and we would just think that that was it. It's the thing. And so we'd get triggered and we'd feel bad and, perhaps we'd argue with the people or whatever. And now you have that power to go, okay, so this is not about this. Where's it coming from? Change that. Isn't that fantastic? I'm so excited and well done.
I couldn't believe that it went back to the granny again.
Yeah. It makes perfect sense, though. It makes perfect sense. So what you're aiming for now, of course, is to end up with your granny making comments like, you are so beautiful, and saying it to other people.
The battery. Sorry.
That's all right.
I'm going to die. Sorry. He's not going to. What do you call it?
That's okay.
Right.
So you want your granny to now be saying how proud she is of you, and to you, but also to other people. Overhear her saying to her friends or family members or whatever, Katrina, I can't get over how beautiful Katrina is. She gets it from my side of the family, She takes after me. and say, I'm so proud of her because she's beautiful inside and out. All of those things. Hear your grandmother specifically saying to you and to other people. So that creates more resources there.
Okay.
That sound good?
Beautiful, Odille. Yes, thank you.
Good. You're very welcome, sweetheart. And Steve, you've added that to the list? Fantastic. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that, Katrina. All right. And oops, my screen keeps jumping. Okay. So now let's go back and see. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so in your robe, that's fine. And chats between you. So Cheryl says, I had my eyes open today. Oh, good. So that's for the superpower exercise at the beginning. I had my eyes open today, felt good. Good job. Please target helping me to recognize there is always enough. I don't have to collect things, food, etc., in case I run out. And then, yes. Okay, so great, you got that. Thank you. And of course, yes. So in addition to us targeting that, remember, of course, to check in your childhood. And it may not be about collecting things, and it may not be about food or the things you're collecting now, but it will be that feeling. So I'm saying this for everybody else as well, others who have the same issue. Remember to go, how do I know that I feel that there's not enough? Or how do I know there's not enough? How does that feel? And it may be different for different people. And then where in my childhood did I have that same feeling, even if it's a different topic? And then, of course, change those. Because a lot of people go, well, so I have this limitation feeling now, or I believe there's not enough. And so they start looking in their childhood to try and find places where there wasn't enough food or there wasn't enough money or that kind of thing, but it's not necessarily that topic. It may be affection, it may be attention, it may be a completely different topic. So that helps to remember that it may not be the same topic. All right, and then love Lisa's daily readings. They're so informative. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, we do too. And you can use my name. Okay, so Kath says, with reference to your answer to Swasti's questions, what's the difference between doing a stepping stone and changing the childhood memory directly? Good question. And for the same trigger stroke reference, did you mean that we can have different versions of new memories to change it? Yes, so thank you for asking that question, Kath, because I know it will help others as well. So a stepping stone is to get, it's an additional piece of information. So ideally, let's say you're, well, we use Swasti's example. So no, I'll use a different example so that you've got the different options. So let's say I was bullied in school and I feel like my mum didn't stand up for me. I told my mum and she didn't stand up for me. That's not true, by the way, that never happened, but I'm just using that as an example. So ideally, the end memory I want to end up with is that I was never bullied. Because if I change it to where I was bullied and my mum stood up for me, in my subconscious, the piece that I've changed is that my mum stood up for me. And so I'm worthy, I'm safe, and all of that. But the piece that it still remains in the subconscious is the fact that I was still bullied. And that's going to mean something as well in a separate piece of data. So, but if I just change it directly to I was never bullied, then the subconscious still has that piece of information that my mum never stood up for me. And so whatever that means, like I'm not worthy or I'm not safe. So the stepping stone is I change it first to where I was bullied and I told my mum and she went, that is unacceptable. And she came, she sorted it out. And I was then, I got that justification or that whatever that is, where my mum is now standing up for me and I'm safe. Then, and I practiced that new memory of my mum standing up for me 3 times in a row. That's the stepping stone done. Now I want to change it to the final memory where I was never bullied in the first place. And instead of being bullied, I was popular, and the bully actually is a friend or an admirer, someone who's going, oh, you're so lucky, I wish I could be like you, or that kind of thing. So, and then that memory I rehearse 3 times, and that's the one that I want to keep practicing and make sure that, like a new phone number, it's established. So I hope that helps, but I hope that helps to clarify, and if not, just let me know. All right, and then some compliments for each other. Lisa says, everyone is doing such an amazing job being in their superpower state. I agree, fantastic. Great work, Swasti, good. Katrina, yay. And then thanks to Lisa's Friday. So Chris says, thanks to Lisa's Friday intention for abundance and wealth in the world. A check for £40 arrived in the post Friday. Very good. Cash back for something I purchased but forgotten about. So lots of sites offer cash back, but doesn't always materialize. Thanks to Lisa, it did. That's lovely. And thank you for sharing that, Chris. Cheryl says, that's very helpful, Odille. It could be many things. I will work on it, starting with affection. Good job. Very good. All right. So let's get started on the aiming at the target. So take a deep breath and go into your superpower state. Very good. Feel your heart expanding. Feel that expansion, that physical feeling in your chest, the light shining out. And allow that light or energy to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy, that love. And now allow that light or energy to fill each of the cells of your body. Love each cell just for existing. Good job. Now fill your subject with that same light, that energy. Love them just for existing. And now imagine that that light or that subject doesn't want to be with you. They're rejecting you in some way, or they're miserable, and keep them filled with that light, that energy, that love. Very, very good. And now let's go to Tina. So fill Tina with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Tina just for existing. Very good. And allow that light or energy to overflow from Tina and fill everything in her life, everything, everyone in her life. No matter what, love it all anyway, shining that light into any darkness. And allow that light, that energy to fill going back to work, the masks, the virus, all of that, shining that light into any darkness. Love it all anyway. Seeing that power, feeling that power. Very, very good. And now over to Lisa. Fill Lisa with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Lisa just for existing. And allow that light or energy to overflow from Lisa and fill the financial situations of the whole planet. No matter what those financial situations are, fill them all with that same light, that energy. Love it all anyway, shining that light into any darkness. Very good. And now to Swasti. Fill Swasti with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Swasti just for existing. Very good. And allow that light or energy to fill Swasti's future with that light, that energy, that love, that power, no matter what happens. Love it all anyway, everything, everyone, shining light into any darkness. And allow that light or energy now to fill Swasti's brother, from the tips of his toes to the top of his head and out to his fingertips. Love Swasti's brother just for existing. And allow that light or energy to fill Swasti's brother's nose, no matter what. Whatever the state of it is, all the cells of Swasti's brother's nose, fill all of those with that light, that energy. Love each cell just for existing and no matter what. Shining the light into any darkness. Very good. And now over to Chris. Fill Chris with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Chris just for existing. And allow that light, that energy to overflow from Chris and fill everything and everyone in her life. And staying in the I am and her queendom, and whether she does or not, love it all anyway, exactly as it is, shining that light into any darkness. Good job. And now over to Katrina. Fill Katrina with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Katrina just for existing. Good job. And now allow that light or energy to overflow from Katrina and fill little 8-year-old Katrina with that same light, that energy, that love, no matter what. That memory of her grandmother, fill all of that with that light, that energy, including her grandmother. Fill the grandmother from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips as well. Even in the bad memory, fill the whole lot, no matter what her grandmother says. Fill it all with light, that energy, that love. Love it all exactly as it is, shining that light into any darkness. Very good. And now to Cheryl. Fill Cheryl with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Cheryl just for existing. And allow that light or energy to overflow from Cheryl and fill the feelings of not having enough, there not being enough. Whatever that is, fill it all with that light, that energy. Love it all anyway. Love that there is enough, love that there's not enough. Love the worst case scenario, shining that light into any darkness. Very, very good. And now to the person who is concerned about the fear, all the fear about what's happening around them, all the riots and all the stuff that's going on in the world. Love all of that. Shine that light, that energy into all of the things that are going on and all of the fear of the things that are going on. Shine that light into all that darkness. Loving everything and everyone exactly as it is and no matter what. That's your power. Shining that light into whatever may come. Very good. And to all those with feelings of overwhelm, health concerns, fill all of that with light, that energy, no matter what, shining that light into any darkness. And now to all of those who are on the call who are not on camera, fill all of those with that light, that energy, from the tips of their toes to the top of their head and out to their fingertips. Love each one just for existing. Very good. And everyone watching the recording, fill them with that same light, that energy, from the tips of their toes to the top of their head and out to their fingertips. Love them all exactly as they are, just for existing. Good job. And now think of yourself later today and fill that version of you with that light, that energy. no matter what you're experiencing or feeling or doing, love that version of you exactly as you are. And now open your heart even more and receive the love, receive the light, the energy, the love from everyone else, including me. Loving you exactly as you are, from the tips of your toes to the top of your head and out to your fingertips, amping up that power, that light, that energy. Become very aware of how that feels, that superpower. Very, very good. All right, you can open your eyes if you have them closed. And how's everyone doing? There's another question here. Or just keep repeating the same new memory to reinforce it. So yes, oh, there we go. There's the other message. Yes, it helps. Thank you. Good. There was second part. So this is from Kath. There was a second part to my question. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Did you mean that we can have different versions of new memories for the same trigger? Absolutely. Sorry, I thought I had said that, but yes, to clarify, absolutely, because it's all different pieces of data in your subconscious. So, you know, the same trigger can have lots of different resources. So I hope that that answers that question. And she says, or just keep repeating the same new memory to reinforce it. So both. So the stepping stone memories, you only need to repeat 3 times because they're kind of on their way to the final memory. And then the final memory, that's what you want to keep repeating until it's established like a new phone number. So that when you think of that period of your life or that time in your life, it's the new memory that's there. So I hope that clarifies. Oh, yes. Thank you, Steve, for reminding me. So here's your challenge. All right. And this is an idea from one of our fabulous clients. And she's actually a Remmert method practitioner, our first fully certified Remmert method practitioner, Sylvie Debonnet. She's got a little group like this in France, doing it in French. And what she did was she shared with Steve that she set the challenge for her group to send this love, this superpower, this unconditional love to 5 to 10 people during this week. And, or she's done it before, but for us, it'll be during this week, starting with easy ones. So people you love and don't have any problem with, and then getting more and more difficult. So you've got the most difficult ones on your list, and they're the last ones you do. So you build up. So easy ones, people you don't have any problem with sending love to, and then a little bit more difficult, somebody who perhaps, you know, you're a little bit bothered by, and so on until you, so you could pick 5. She said 5 to 10. I would say start with 5 so that it's easy. And it's not too overwhelming. And then if you want to do more, of course you can. And see how that goes. So build that every day during this week. All right?
Let me just add to that, that when Sylvie and I spoke about that, she was talking about the amazing changes that everyone saw just within the first week of doing that. So as you're doing this, also be aware, you know, so you're setting the intention, but you're also looking for how things are starting to shift and change a little bit, and be open to the surprising results.
Fantastic. Thank you, Steve, for sharing that. That's wonderful. Was there anything else you wanted to, because I wasn't the one who spoke to her. No, you did say.
No, but you know, I'll put a teaser out there that we are also laying the groundwork for getting our 2 groups together toward the end of the month for our first little mini conference, just to, you know, to start getting some of our groups together to say hello to each other.
That's it. Yes. And Steve was talking this morning as well. He came up with the sort of vision that, you know, we've got this group, and then Sylvie has her group in France. And then if any of you down the line wanted to start your own group like this, that would be fantastic. We encourage that. So, you know, we envision those of you who have seen the changes and have the experience in that. If you want to do the same thing, we would absolutely fully support you. All right. Very good. And so some comments here. Feeling wonderful. Thank you. You're very welcome. That was so wonderful. So much love. Avalanches of abundance and love. Thank you. Love this challenge. Good. Thanks, Lisa. Love challenge accepted. Very exciting opportunity, Odille. Good, 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 good. I'm so excited to hear all of that and so proud of all of you. I really am. Even those who are on camera and we don't hear from, I am so proud of you for turning up every day, because I can, of course, see your names, and I'm really, really impressed and sending you all lots of love. All right, so get started on your challenge, and we will see you back here tomorrow morning, same, or tomorrow afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. This is so great. Thank you. I'm grateful to you. You're very welcome. Blessings, everyone. This is exciting. Good job. And so have a fantastic rest of your day. Look after yourselves. Keep practicing, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye now.